Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Redefined. I'm here with Ryan Newlin. I am Jeff Caldwell, and we're here to talk about the latest in real estate going on in town. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. Enjoying the newly warmish weather.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty nice outside.
It
a little
is.
windy, but pretty nice.
I've already got to mow my lawn.
Yeah, I agree. I saw some green sprouts coming up in my yard.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy. I heard rumors that the grass may or may not come back. So
Really?
I've heard that St. Augustine might be the worst. I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, that snow really.
That freeze was.
It did.
Yeah, the southern grasses just aren't used to that.
No, they're not.
So.
And I've seen a lot of just around town people who had big cactus.
Yeah.
That are
they're just turned to mush.
Yeah, flopped over and.
Yeah. So it's going to look different this summer, but hopefully the majority of it comes back. And I think even if you've got to replace a bunch of plants, it might be hard to find plants to replace them with. So
yeah,
hopefully they come back.
I hope so. Somebody's lawn it's important to keep a good lawn.
Definitely.
So you wanted to talk a little bit about mortgage rates to start with.
I think I get questions about it all the time, and it's in the news a little bit. Mortgage rates are going up. They've been so incredibly low for, about the last year that they're starting to creep back up. I talked to Reagan Everett with Guild Mortgage this morning, and he gave me some information that like their chief economist had sent, and we both went to the same website, and they follow like a 30-year yield treasury bond, and so we pulled that up, and since January that 30-year yield treasury bond has been going up, and he said mortgage rates typically follow that line. So if you want to know what they're doing, go Google that.
All right.
But he said what he thinks is going to happen is they're going to continue to climb, and back in 2018 our rates were in the 4 to 5 range.
Okay.
He thinks that might be where they're eventually heading. So, again, not 12%, but definitely not 2.5 either. So,
well,
he said, and I looked at like the 3-year graph, just like looking at like a stock market graph, and you go to 2018 and it's in, the level is not quite there, but it's going there.
So before it started rising, what were you seeing, say, last year?
Well, rates were like, I think, when COVID first started, it was 3.5, and then they fell. That like the government does certain things with that yield bond to manipulate mortgage rates to keep them as low as possible to help the economy. And so they went down to, we saw rates this year, or at the end of last year and early this year, like 30-year mortgage rates at like 2.75 and stuff around there.
Right.
So there might have been some lower than that and a lot just above it, but that's where they were. Today, I think they're just above 3. So still really good.
And 1 percentage point can have a huge effect on.
Like if you I don't encourage anyone to look at what they pay on their interest over the life of a mortgage because it's scary.
Right.
But yeah, it's a big effect there. It might not be that much monthly, but over the life of the loan, it adds up to be a whole lot of money. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd heard as far as making sure that your loans are paid off on time or ahead of time, it's a good idea to, whenever you can, just pay a little bit extra towards the principal of a loan.
Yeah, definitely. I've always, like in agents that work with me, we say it all the time at closing is when you get that payment, you take your principal amount and divide it by 12, and so you'll get a number, I don't know, it might be $65.
Right.
And pay that much additional principal every month. And by doing that little bit every month, you'll take 7 years off your 30-year mortgage.
That's
you'll pay it off in 23 years rather than 30. So that's something simple that everyone can do.
Yeah.
Just to, get that principal dropping. Because again, that's kind of like you're, owning that house, and that equity in that house it's like a savings account that you really can't get to without an effort of selling your house and waiting a couple months. So, the faster you pay it down, the more you will get when you sell that house. And you get that money tax-free, so that's good.
Right. So speaking about equity that's in a house and home value, a lot of people may have lost a little bit of value in their home because of plumbing problems that occurred after the freeze.
Well, yeah, if you have to spend a couple $1,000 fixing your house, you've essentially lost that money.
Right.
But you'll get it back over time.
Right.
The hard part's getting those problems fixed. I knew I had this show, so I had to figure out something. So I called my Justin Ward, who does my plumbing, and he was just telling me about, they're still a month out or more on getting to jobs.
Right.
He said the hard part is finding the parts that, like the plumbing supply stores that, that's where they go to buy their parts. They'll get a shipment in, and within 3 hours, all the shipment is gone.
Right.
And that's not like every plumber got by there. They'll miss out. He's like, we're going to have to do like water restrictions on plumbing parts, on like PVC elbows.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough of them, I guess, nationwide. And I heard that the plant that manufactures plumbing parts for a lot of the country is located in Texas.
Oh.
It froze, of course.
Right. So
there's a chemical, an oil-based chemical that they need to make the PVC. There's a shortage on that. So they can't even get their facility back up and running. So it's all kind of compounding on itself.
Right. It's really crazy how little supply chain problems that you generally don't see when you just go out and buy a part.
You never thought that,
And a problem in some oil market is
somebody's
causing...
got some handyman that tinkers in his garage has got a box full of plumbing parts that are in high demand. So,
and he could make a lot of money on eBay right now.
Put those on.
I know that I had to wait about 3 weeks to get the leak that we had because of the freeze.
Yeah.
And it only took him half an hour.
Yeah.
Once they came out.
Well, Justin said that he's got houses. Just him. He's a small plumber.
Yeah.
Not a big company. He's got 4 houses that need so much plumbing work that he can't do because there are not the parts available to do the work that needs to be done in these houses. He's also waiting on it's become popular these last few years is the tankless water heaters that they'll install on the exterior of a home a lot of times. And we never have a problem with that. Of course, this freeze broke a lot of parts within those heaters, and there's not parts to fix them.
Right.
So there's people without hot water in those houses. There was a customer that he had that had the pressure pump for his well broke. Oh. And there are no pressure pumps to put in right now. So
it's still a hard time for a lot of people.
It's a hard time for a lot of folks.
Yeah. Man, that's really tough. Plumbers are just in such high demand right now, and then just finding the parts.
Yeah, I think people are opening the phone book or searching on Google and just calling everyone down the line to see who can get there fastest.
Right, and I know just following the freeze, the legislature or the governor signed an executive order that said that out-of-state plumbers can get expedited licenses.
I didn't hear that. Well, that makes sense.
To start fulfilling demand, but that doesn't really help too much if they can't get parts.
Exactly. I'm assuming there's warmer states in the country that have parts houses that I don't know if they've already sent everything here. Yeah. Or they don't want to send everything here, or they're trying to. I don't know, but well, again, if you never thought PVC was going to be an issue, but it's an issue.
Right. If it relies on something from part of our oil industry that is having trouble, then
definitely
nobody's getting those parts.
Exactly. Now gas prices are going up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The oil industry affects a whole lot.
Yeah.
You had mentioned something that I don't know anything about: housing starts.
Housing starts.
So what are those?
Well, like when builders are building houses at all times a year, all over the country, San Angelo as well, and I do a lot with the Home Builders Association, so the city puts out their permits that are pulled every month, and you can look, and in May generally there'll be a lot of permits pulled, and a permit pulled in May means a house that gets started to be built in June, and then that house is finished in December. So it takes a while to get done, but if you look at housing starts on any given month, it kind of shows you what is going to be there 6 months from now.
Got it.
So we've still got our inventory problems where we don't have many houses to sell. And so in January, there were 23 permits pulled. And then this month, in February, there were 15, which is way lower than last February.
Yeah.
And we've got if you've been watching for several weeks, you know, it's kind of the stuff that's on a daily topics in my head. But there's a lumber shortage, which means prices are high. There's a land shortage, which there's no land to build on, and so these builders they're scared to start homes.
Sure.
And so if they're scared in February and only 15 permits are pulled, that means in June and July, when those homes would be typically being finished, there's going to be less available. So it doesn't look like the builders are going to climb us out of our housing shortage all at once. So,
right.
But again, it just keeps kind of compounding on itself.
Right. All of these separate parts that make up.
We've got a lot of houses selling every day, but we could sell way more than we are selling if we had more available. So prices keep going up due to the limited supply, and then we see that, you know, when normally there might be 30 or 40 houses starting this month, there might only be 15.
I mean, it seems like the most insurmountable one is the lack of land.
Yeah,
would be.
Well, you've got to. There's land available, but
it's not for sale.
You got to figure out. It's going up in price.
Uh-huh.
Someone's got to go in there and put a street down. You can imagine a street ain't cheap.
Right.
You got to figure out your plumbing. You got to figure out your electrical. You know, you got to go through if it's in the city limits, you got to go through the city process. So, you know, the city I know is working on it, trying to figure out how to streamline that from, you know, raw land to being a subdivision.
Right.
You know, I think that's one thing. We have enough water now, but we've still got to get that raw land and put all the development costs into it. In order to put lots.
Right. That's a big process.
I think we could build the homes could be built if we had more lots available to purchase.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, the entire infrastructure of society.
Yeah.
Not being in an area, of course,
exactly,
is going to hinder growth. What else did we have? We had.
I wanted to just plug, just because I just got back from a meeting on this, but for I think 2 out of the last 3 years, the home builders have put on their parade of homes.
Okay.
I think it's a cool event. The ERA is the title sponsor. We've been the title sponsor. This is the 3rd straight time. But basically, the builders it's going to take place April 10th and 11th, and then 17 and 18. So kind of during the rodeo, it's going to be 2 weekends, and there's I think 9 or 10 parade of home houses that will be featured. So this is where the builders can kind of show off what they do, and like they're going to use trendy things that maybe haven't been in houses in San Angelo before, that they see in other markets, that they kind of trick these houses out and let the public come through. You buy a ticket, it's for a super good cause. Last year, I guess was it 19, we gave the home builders donated $10,000 to House of Faith.
Oh, nice.
Off the ticket sales, off the parade of homes. So, you know, these homes, a lot of them, some of them might be sold already by the time it goes down, but a lot of them will be available. So, you know, we see people coming through that are just getting ideas for remodeling, getting ideas to build, or they might want to buy the house that's sitting there that is being featured.
Man, yeah, that sounds like a really great event, especially to be putting it on during rodeo.
Yeah.
When,
I think when they scheduled this, they didn't know the rodeo was going to be in April.
Right.
But it's cool. It's San Angelo will have some stuff going on.
Right.
During that first couple of weeks of April.
And we're going to have visitors from out of town. Who,
definitely.
You know, if they hear about the parade of homes, then we might have some new San Angeloans.
That's true.
But it sounds like a really great opportunity to, like you said, get some ideas about remodeling if you're not necessarily looking for a home.
Yeah. That's the thing, is people are doing a lot of remodeling right now, because if you want to go somewhere new, or you need to, like, oh my gosh, I've got to have that home office or something like that.
Right.
And you look and you don't see anything that you want to go buy, or you want to stay on you're going to remodel. So you might add on, you might build a house like a little home office in the backyard of your home. So
right.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
There's a lot of that going on.
I'd love to have a separate office in the
backyard. Put a little
backyard.
news studio back there.
That would just to, we've got a shed back there, so that's almost the same thing.
Yeah. A he shed.
Yeah, that's right. So we have talked just a lot about the inventory issues that we've been having. Home starts being down, inventory issues at the same time. Is there any way that you see, like you guys can't divine what the future holds. So
No.
so what should somebody who's looking for a house do right now?
Well, if you want to go look for a house, I think you should definitely call ERA. You can go to our website, eranewlin.com, and just click agent roster. It's on the top. There's a list of all 65 agents on there. And you probably know someone that works for us. So find an agent and talk to them about what you're looking for, figure out how to get pre-approved. And then, what we're doing in our office a lot is, we've got a list compiled of 70 buyers that need a certain thing. And then at the same time, we are listing homes. We've listed and sold more homes than any other company in town last year, the year before, and this year. And so we have a lot coming up daily that we're kind of letting people that are already looking within our office know about to kind of match those two together. So a lot of the houses we're selling this year are ones that, we know, agent over in this office is looking for something, and we know this next office is listing something, and we put those two together. So that's a good way to do it, is just give us a call. Find an agent that works for us and let them know what you're doing.
Right.
Another feature that I just got fixed on this website is right next to agents is get pre-approved. We've got a list of mortgage providers on there. You can go straight to them. Got bios on them, and you can kind of scroll that list of lenders that we work with.
So we're showing everybody the website right now. Can you click through to that?
Oh yeah. So we got our Get Pre-Approved tab. So we've got different lenders that you can send them a message directly through our website.
Man, that's great.
Go back. We've got our agents. So just click on the roster.
Right.
You can search by, first name, last name, but you can also just scroll through. There's how many pages? We've got 5 pages of agents on here.
You guys have a lot of good people working for you. Yeah.
Another cool thing back on the homepage that I think is fun to just look at. We've talked about this before, but you got your just listed homes that just came on.
That's where you want to be looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got our open houses. So it's not just the ones that my office is holding open. It's all the companies that open houses.
Okay.
There's San Angelo Live always puts out an open house list on Sunday. You can see what houses are being held open on Sunday, like on Tuesday on this site. Okay. Because as soon as the agent decides they're going to hold an open house, they're going to put it in our MLS system and it'll populate here.
Nice.
And then, there's other tabs for like multifamily. There is one multifamily property for sale in San Angelo. It's like a 14-unit apartment complex.
Wow.
But there's land listing, there's condos. We don't have many condos here in San Angelo.
No.
But then you got listings in Wall, listings in Cristoval, listings in Ballinger. So we've created these special sections that are kind of quick to get to.
Yeah. That's a pretty great. You guys have a really nice site.
Yeah. So, and we're adding to these tabs all the time, and we'll continue to talk about them on here.
If you want the latest, definitely go to it's eranewlin.com.
eranewlin.com. You can also call us 481-0500, and we answer the phone. Like even if you call after hours, Tamara is answering the phone during the day. She's awesome if you call and talk to Tamara, but she can transfer to any agent straight to their cell phone, whether they're in the office or not. After hours, we transfer the phones to an agent. So we'll have an agent that's answering the phones after 5 o'clock on the weekdays. Mm-hmm. We'll have an agent that's answering the phones on the weekends. So if you just have a question, you drive by a house that you want to know what it's priced at, call us because we answer the phone on the weekends and after 5. So it doesn't even matter if it's our sign or not. We answer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So if you see a house with
a sign in the yard and you call and you get to talk to one of the agents at our office,
right,
they can give you the information on that house. They can tell you if it's available, the price. They can set an appointment to get you in. It might be a vacant house that you can go see, within a few minutes. Right. So,
see, you know what? That actually makes me think of a house that's just down the block from where I'm living.
Yeah.
And I'm renting right now.
Gotcha.
And I look at that house and I'm like, that'd be nice. But I'm not absolutely certain that I make enough money.
Yeah.
If somebody is, say, in a similar position to mine, just call.
Yeah. So, you see a house, you might have looked at the price and saw, this house is $180,000, but what does that even mean to me, and
Right.
what my payment's going to be, and is it comparable at all to what I spend in rent? That's like, the agents that work with us can answer a lot of those questions. They're not lenders, and they don't do mortgages.
Right.
So you really need to get with that mortgage provider. But as far as just questions like that, hey, it's roughly going to be a payment of, $1,400 a month. And that's going to include your taxes, your insurance, and everything. But again, talk to an agent, check out the Get Pre-Approved tab on my website, because you can send a message to one of those lenders and they're going to be able to get back with you pretty quick. They might need to find out, they're going to ask for a lot, but
Right.
they can tell you off the bat based on, what the rough payment's going to be. But they're going to need to know credit scores, and they do.
Absolutely,
those lenders do everything except a blood sample. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they want to make sure they're not going to approve a loan for that much money for somebody who's not really interested in paying. I think that's just about all the time we have. Is there anything that you want to say to everybody before we take off?
I always am going to say, ask questions on the comments, because next Thursday's going to come quick, and I'm going to be scrambling trying to find something.
Trying to figure something out.
So I can usually find something. So
yeah.
Let's see. Let me look at my notes. Oh, I want to do a segment on smart homes. I'm working on that.
That's a really fun thing to talk
and it's
about.
not just like the Nest. Everyone knows about the Nest, and everyone's got a Ring doorbell these days.
Right, but the Internet of Things.
Yeah, just
there's
using that Alexa to kind of power your house.
Right.
You can get it to. There's a lot of things it can do. So I'm going to bring on a guest or something, and
that's
just
a good
talk
idea.
about smart homes.
Yeah, those Internet of Things devices are getting better.
And it's efficient. If you have.
Yeah.
Like my thermostat at my house it's probably the cheapest one, but it doesn't program. And so if we forget to turn it down, it stays on that level.
Right.
And, when you got these smart thermostats, they know when you're gone, they know when you're there.
Right.
It's going to save you, you might spend a little money to acquire it, but it's going to save you over the long haul on your energy bill.
Yeah. And if you're a tech tinkerer,
that's true.
You can.
Some of the best videos, like on Facebook, are from people's Ring doorbells.
Yeah.
Like watching people slip or UPS drive. I don't know. There's some cool stuff.
I was reading on Twitter. I think this is before there were some fail safes put in, but somebody had a vacuum that was connected to Amazon in some way, and Amazon Web Services in their region had gone down. So he said, "I can't vacuum." Because my vacuum can't connect to the internet. All right. So we'll see you guys next week.
Definitely. I'll be here.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it, Joe.
Bye, everyone.